Hello, my name is Steven Masley, and this is your personal budget project for FIPL 2770, whoops. And this is for Dr. Hubbard's Monday, Wednesday, 12:30 to 1:50 class, Stephen Masley. So this is my expense category worksheets: income, food, housing. You'll see this in the document. Skip to the bottom. We'll go to the script questions because I've been running out of time when I go through this. So this is the simulated month of October. This is the budget sheet. After the others, I do have a deficit. And we get to the script questions. How do you feel now that you've done your budget? What are the three things you learned from the budgeting project? I feel relieved I've done the budget, but at the same time, I do have a big sense of worry and anxiety, as I do have a deficit currently, $164.53 deficit. And that has given me some sense of stress, because I don't know if I'm going to run out of money at the end of this year. Now, I do think I have enough money in my savings to stave off going broke, but this does give me a pretty sizable kick that I need to start focusing on stuff. So, but I am pretty relieved. I'm confident now that I have a budget. I know what my expenses are. I know if I have I know the deficit definitely, although I assumed I had one earlier before I did this. I now know I have one definitely, and I know the amount it is, $164.53 average the last 3 months. So that's the simulated month for October deficit, but that's based off the last 3 months. So last 3 months have been deficits. So now, what are the things you learned from the budgeting project? One, I learned that you need a cash flow sheet. You need to keep track of your expenses and income. That is essential if you want to actually follow through on this budget sheet. And if you want to make one, you really need to keep track of all these expenses, or else you will not really be that successful. So that's the number one thing I learned. Second thing is don't use credit cards that often. Although I had really only one credit card expenditure for $8.70, it was kind of like I almost forgot about it. And the only reason I did it is because it's due to this project making me check in September about it. So really only use it for short-term purchases, because you could really easily forget about it, and it'll stack up that interest. And third thing is have smart financial goals. If you have financial goals, you'll actually pursue them and try to get them accomplished. Because I have no financial goals. I have no goals in savings or investments right now, which has led me to invest zero money, and has only cost me and has kind of urged me, or compelled me not to get a job, or I have no incentive to get one because I have no financial goals. And as long as I'm at least above being broke, I have no real reason, even with this deficit, which has really let me stagger a bit and not really developed wealth or financial progress. So the things I learned: have smart financial goals. It'll allow people to aim, achieve, and improve their finances by reaching recognized, obtainable, and measured goals. So if you have smart financial goals, you'll measure them, obtain them, and you'll at least get to them. And it might incentivize you to get more earned income or pursue higher earning jobs. So my biggest expense category as a full-time student is, of course, education. For tuition costs, books, etc., especially in October, because based off the last 3 months. So August really inflates that. Second biggest expense is rent. Rent is my normal expense, $881.91. Housing, all that stuff, and education is the current biggest one though. That's because August when you pay tuition and everything. So that's also the big one. So, and surprises. I spend a lot of money on food and entertainment. Although it's not really a lot, it's still a pretty sizable amount. Like $55 for food and $48 for entertainment. So that's pretty surprising to me. I didn't know I spend that much money eating out and on the entertainment stuff. So now I do have a deficit. I have a 160. So number question 3: do you have a deficit or deficit? Are there any changes that you'll make to improve your cash flow? If so, what are they? How will you make those changes? So I have a $664.53 deficit. So this is my deficit, and how will I change it? Well, first thing, the easiest thing is to cut food expenses, because I can just buy more groceries every week when my mom or dad comes. They usually pay for groceries I purchase. It's not real. They purchase the groceries for me, but I pick them out. So, if I buy more groceries, well, if they get me more groceries, then I can really cut back on my actual eating out, which would save me $55. And the second thing is cut back on entertainment. So when I go out, don't really spend money when I go out with my friends. Try to focus on the entertainment stuff I have, like the internet games that I own, or YouTube, instead of spending money and going out with people. That could be also a way I can save money. And really, the biggest thing is earning. Getting earned income would be the number one way for me to change this deficit into a surplus. Even if I'm working like 10 hours a week, 40 hours a month at $10, that's $400 per month. That would get me a surplus. So that's what I can do to increase it to a surplus. And to do that, I can just use Handshake to search for jobs, use a UNT Career Counseling Center to network, use Handshake and that to focus on getting a job. So think about your family and community in general. Do they live on a budget? Do they track their expenses? What kind of unhealthy financial behaviors do you see in your family? Well, my family used to have a budget, but around for the last 10 years, since 2014/2015, they stopped using a budget, and really it's been an increase in unhealthy financial behaviors. It has seen my father and family increase impulsive purchases, regress in their risk-taking behavior, and really don't invest as much in stocks and more, high-risk investments, big reward items. Instead, money market accounts, bonds, and there's no really schedule for eating. There's a lot more eating out, a lot more impulsive grocery shopping, not a lot of strict regimen in what they're purchasing since 2014/2015. How do you impact the society around you by living on a budget? What if you don't? Well, the main reason you impact society by living on a budget is you're an efficient actor in the economy. You're stable because you won't really have them. You'll have a higher chance of not being financially ruined by an accident, so you'll be more stable. You provide more money for the economy. You'll be more generating wealth by using a budget, which will in turn cause you to generate more money for the economy, which will increase the society around you by making you richer. And if you don't have a budget, well, you have a higher chance of falling apart at a minor accident, which will lead you to spiraling down into ruin, which can force you to use government services, use social programs, which is a burden on everyone else because they pay for those programs and they're taxed for it. So if you don't use a budget and you get ruined, you are being you're a negative on society because you are taking money out of them from government programs to keep alive. And if you use a budget, you'll be more stable, you're enjoying more wealth for society, and you're overall better. So how would you help a friend set up their budget and live by it? Now, honestly, the outline you gave in the project is excellent. Use a cash flow sheet and an expense and income sheet to make them track their income and expenses for the past few months, and then base that for a simulated month, and that's their budget for the simulated next month. So same thing we did in this project basically is what I'd set them up on. And how for them to live by it, really you want to include small financial goals, or like really include budgeting savings that at the end of the month, the money that they saved in that little budget savings, or like $50 that they save, or like a $50 minor savings. If they save those $50 and by following the budget, then you can have my friend or the friend use those $50 on what they want. So like like entertainment or something. And so that incentivizes them to continue following the budget, so they continue to earn that extra savings. So basically, include financial goals and SMART goals in a budget to incentivize someone to follow the budget to achieve those goals. Once they start achieving smaller goals, they'll look for bigger goals to follow. It'll help them increase wealth, while at the same time, it makes the budget look like it's helping them achieve those goals. Now, 7, looking your pay stubs for work. I have no work. I have no earned income, so I don't pay any income tax. My main tax impact is from sales tax on like book expenditures, food, and entertainment. So that's my main type of expenses from taxes, is sales tax. And it doesn't really impact my budget that much. I'd say around 20 to 30, maybe $40 in total overall is from taxes, mainly due to the massive book expenses, but really it's not that much compared to everything else. Now, how do taxes impact and influence society in both good or bad ways? Now, good ways, taxes are essential for providing public goods, such as infrastructure, public security, and regulatory actions on corporations that might be, exploiting everyone else, really. So that's the main ways that government is good and taxes are good. Now, the bad ways, 2 examples, each way it's kind of bad. Taxes are bad because they are pretty much unfair and might bruise social unrest and resentment by favoring certain brackets of the population over others. So the poor, the retired over the young, over the rich and young working population. Along with that, social programs and government expenditures could also lead to government bloat and inefficient services, which will cause the economy to slag and slow down, growth to be less, wages to be depressed, and overall make the economy slow down, as the government is inefficient in some regards. But overall, the government is good because it provides us public services and social expenditures, which can help people that are on the bottom of society reach back up. So this is the main thing. I know I'm a little over time at 11 minutes for this, and that's due to all the things I wrote down and a lot of questions. So sorry if I'm like a minute and a half over. This is Stephen Masley's Your Personal Budget Project. I hope you had a good time listening to this, and I'll see you on Monday. Thank you.